Picture this. Every single year, American drivers unknowingly waste nearly a third of their fuel budget on completely avoidable mistakes. We're not talking about major mechanical failures or obvious problems. These are subtle, everyday driving patterns and maintenance oversights that silently drain your wallet while gas stations quietly watch their profits soar. What you're about to discover isn't snake oil. It's not about purchasing expensive gadgets, and you won't need any special tools or training. Instead, I'm going to walk you through 13 scientifically backed, field-tested strategies that maximize every drop of gasoline in your tank, extend your engine's lifespan, and could easily put $500 to $1,000 back in your pocket annually. The first strategy I'll reveal at the end is particularly powerful. It's the one fuel companies desperately hope stays buried because it undermines one of their most profitable schemes. Almost nobody discusses it openly, yet it's incredibly simple to implement. Ready? Let's dive in. Strategy 13. Eliminate dangerous aggressive driving techniques like tailgating. Have you ever spotted a vehicle practically glued to the rear bumper of an 18-wheeler barreling down the interstate? That's drafting, a technique borrowed from NASCAR where drivers exploit the slipstream of the vehicle ahead to reduce wind resistance. It appears bold and feels exhilarating, but on public highways, it's genuinely one of the quickest routes to catastrophic collision. Professional race car drivers can execute drafting safely because they operate in controlled environments with constant radio communication, dedicated spotters monitoring their every move, specialized safety equipment, and entire pit crews analyzing real-time data. Meanwhile, out on American roadways, you've got standard safety restraints, unpredictable pavement conditions, distracted motorists checking their phones, and truck operators who have absolutely no awareness that you're hovering dangerously close behind them. Here's what the petroleum industry quietly celebrates. Drivers who engage in aggressive behavior, rapid acceleration, heavy braking, excessive speed fluctuations, consume dramatically more fuel than those who maintain calm, predictable driving patterns. Research conducted by the United States Department of Energy reveals that harsh acceleration combined with sudden deceleration can slash your fuel efficiency by anywhere from 15% all the way up to 30%. That's nearly a third of your fuel budget evaporating due to impatient driving habits. Drafting amplifies these risks exponentially. While it's technically accurate that maintaining close proximity behind a massive commercial vehicle can decrease aerodynamic resistance, achieving any meaningful fuel savings requires positioning yourself mere feet behind a machine that can weigh up to 80,000 pounds. At that proximity, your available reaction window shrinks to less than 1 second. Barely enough time to process what's happening, let alone execute evasive maneuvers. That's not intelligent fuel management. That's playing Russian roulette with your vehicle and your life. Even when maintaining what most drivers perceive as a more reasonable following distance, drafting typically yields only marginal fuel savings, roughly 1% to 3% at best. But consider the actual risk-reward calculation. One unexpected tire blowout from the truck ahead, one momentary brake tap you didn't anticipate, and you literally don't possess sufficient time to respond. The mathematical trade-off is absurd. The intelligent alternative. Smooth, consistent driving patterns cost you nothing, drastically improve safety, and deliver superior fuel efficiency. You reach your destination at essentially the same time, minus the white-knuckle stress and without incinerating your fuel reserves in the process. Now that we've addressed reckless habits, let's explore a smarter approach that conserves fuel before your foot ever touches the brake pedal. Strategy 12. Master the art of traffic anticipation. Constantly reacting, repeatedly jamming on the brakes, and darting between lanes might seem normal in typical American traffic conditions, but it represents one of the fastest methods to deplete your gas tank. Fuel retailers quietly appreciate this reactive driving style because every abrupt stop, followed by aggressive acceleration, burns excess gasoline unnecessarily. Developing anticipation skills completely transforms your driving efficiency. When you train yourself to scan farther ahead down the roadway, rather than fixating exclusively on the vehicle immediately in front of you, you begin identifying red traffic signals earlier, spotting brake lights with more advance notice, and detecting traffic slowdowns before they catch you unprepared. Instead of accelerating aggressively toward an intersection where the light has already turned red, you ease off the accelerator and allow the vehicle to coast naturally. Rather than slamming the brakes at the last possible moment, you harness momentum as your ally. This isn't complicated physics, it's just working with your vehicle's natural tendencies instead of fighting against them. Research from prestigious institutions, including the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, combined with extensive data analysis from the United States Department of Energy, demonstrates the financial benefits clearly. Adopting smoother driving techniques can enhance fuel economy by anywhere from 10% to an impressive 40% in stop-and-go city driving conditions. Those aren't trivial numbers. That's real money staying in your account instead of vaporizing at the pump. Meanwhile, studies conducted by the American Automobile Association paint an interesting picture about aggressive driving. Speeding, weaving aggressively through traffic lanes, and generally driving impatiently saves drivers an average of merely 26 seconds on their typical daily commute. Read that again, 26 seconds. Less than half a minute saved, yet accompanied by substantially increased fuel consumption and significantly elevated accident risk. Beyond the fuel savings, anticipatory driving reduces mechanical wear on your engine components, transmission system, and brake assemblies, which translates directly to lower repair expenses and maintenance costs down the road. Think of it as defensive driving with an immediate financial dividend built in. Fewer unpleasant surprises, dramatically reduced stress levels, and a fuel gauge that descends far more gradually. Speaking of timing, while timing your driving inputs saves fuel, timing how you manage your vehicle's climate control can save even more. Strategy 11. Understand when to use air conditioning versus open windows. Selecting the wrong cooling method can deplete your tank faster than most motorists realize, and fuel companies would strongly prefer you remain confused about this. What's particularly ironic is that many drivers consistently do the exact opposite of what actually maximizes fuel efficiency. At lower speeds, particularly during city driving with frequent stops, air conditioning becomes a genuine fuel vampire. It places a substantial additional load on your engine's operation, and that supplementary demand can increase fuel consumption by approximately 15% to 30%, especially during sweltering American summer months when AC systems work their hardest. That's why blasting maximum air conditioning during short urban trips quietly erodes your miles per gallon without you even noticing. However, the equation changes dramatically once you reach highway velocities, specifically above approximately 55 to 60 miles per hour. Open windows at highway speed create severe aerodynamic drag, essentially transforming your vehicle into something resembling a parachute. At these higher speeds, operating the air conditioning system actually becomes the more fuel-efficient cooling option. The United States Department of Energy conducted direct testing on this phenomenon, and the findings were unambiguous. At elevated speeds, utilizing the air conditioning system, particularly when set to recirculation mode, consumes less fuel than driving with windows lowered. The drag penalty from open windows at highway speed outweighs the mechanical load of running the AC compressor. Here's the principle that rarely gets explained clearly. During low-speed city traffic, moderately opened windows generally represent the smarter choice for cooling. Once you transition to highway speeds, close those windows and activate the air conditioning system. And when facing extreme temperature conditions, whether scorching heat or bitter cold, always prioritize safety and maintaining alertness over minor fuel economy gains. Staying comfortable and mentally sharp matters infinitely more than squeezing out fractional improvements in efficiency. That's another myth exposed. But what about scenarios where your engine continues running while your wheels remain completely stationary? Strategy 10. Eliminate extended idling periods. If you're looking for a method to watch your fuel literally disappear without traveling anywhere, simply allow your vehicle to idle indefinitely. It's one of the quietest, most invisible ways to incinerate money, and fuel retailers are more than content to let this practice continue unchallenged. No warning lights illuminate. No unusual sounds occur. No movement happens. Just a continuous stream of gasoline being consumed while you sit parked, frequently scrolling through your smartphone or waiting for someone. The fundamental truth is straightforward. Contemporary vehicles do not require extended warm-up periods before driving. That outdated practice originated during the carburetor era, technology that disappeared from mainstream vehicles decades ago. Today's electronically fuel-injected engines reach operational stability within mere seconds of starting. Allowing your modern car to idle for 5, 10, or 15 minutes doesn't protect the engine or improve its longevity. It simply wastes fuel, period. According to extensive research from the United States Environmental Protection Agency, idling consumes between 1/4 and 1/2 gallon of fuel per hour, with variation depending primarily on engine displacement and size. When you calculate this waste over an entire year, particularly factoring in winter morning warm-ups and extended waiting periods, it easily accumulates to $100, $150, or even more burned for absolutely zero benefit. That's money quite literally going up in exhaust fumes while your vehicle accomplishes nothing. Additionally, prolonged idling causes engines to operate in a fuel-rich condition, which accelerates carbon deposit buildup, promotes rough operational characteristics, clogs critical emission system components, and ultimately reduces overall engine longevity, all while the vehicle remains completely motionless. The smarter approach, if you anticipate being stopped for more than approximately 10 seconds, shutting the engine off consumes less fuel than allowing it to idle. Modern starter systems are incredibly robust, and restarting your engine uses far less fuel than conventional wisdom suggests. The old myth that starting uses more gas than idling is simply false for any modern vehicle. Before we continue to the next revelation, make absolutely certain you're subscribed to Car Diagnostics, because the strategies coming next impact gas station profits even more severely than what you've already learned. Strategy 9. Maintain a clean air filter. If you've ever wanted to inadvertently make a gas station wealthier without driving a single additional mile, simply allow your engine's air filter to become progressively clogged and then completely forget it exists. Nobody at the fuel pump will mention it. No service reminder will alert you. And that's precisely because a contaminated air filter silently sends you back to refuel sooner and more frequently. Your engine requires clean, unobstructed air intake just as critically as it needs clean fuel delivery. When the filter element fills with accumulated dust particles, pollen, fallen leaves, deceased insects, and general road debris, airflow decreases substantially. The engine must work considerably harder just to draw sufficient oxygen for combustion. Reduced air volume means a richer air-to-fuel mixture, and richer combustion inherently means more gasoline burned to generate equivalent power output. In older vehicle models equipped with mechanical fuel systems, a severely clogged air filter can reduce fuel economy by up to 10% directly. Newer engines with sophisticated computer controls and sensor arrays mask the problem more effectively through electronic compensation, but the efficiency loss remains present. It manifests as sluggish throttle response, weakened acceleration, unstable idle quality, and progressive carbon buildup that gradually pushes fuel consumption higher over extended periods. Fuel companies absolutely love this scenario because most drivers completely forget the air filter even exists as a serviceable component. Many motorists drive 20,000, 30,000, or even more miles without ever inspecting it once. That translates directly to wasted fuel, more frequent stops at filling stations, and increased profit margins for petroleum retailers. To avoid falling into this expensive trap, make it standard practice to inspect your air filter element every 12,000 to 15,000 miles. More frequently if you frequently drive on unpaved roads or in particularly dusty environments. Remove the filter and hold it up toward a bright light source. If you cannot see light passing through the filter material, your engine cannot breathe through it either, and it requires immediate replacement. If you want more comprehensive cleaning and maintenance techniques that restore lost power and efficiency, I encourage you to watch our dedicated in-depth video on air filter maintenance. This simple inspection procedure can make your engine feel completely revitalized. Now, if a contaminated air filter steals fuel quietly and gradually, the next factor robs you in plain sight every single day. Strategy 8. Maintain correct tire pressure at all times. Insufficient tire pressure represents one of the sneakiest, most insidious methods fuel stations generate revenue without any direct action whatsoever. You cannot hear it happening. You'll barely feel any difference. And your vehicle's warning systems often won't alert you until substantial damage has already occurred. Yet every single mile driven on underinflated tires forces your engine to burn more fuel than necessary, quietly boosting petroleum sales industry-wide. When tire pressure drops, even slightly below the recommended specification, the tire's contact patch spreads out more extensively against the road surface. This increases what engineers call rolling resistance, which means your engine must generate additional force just to maintain constant speed on level ground. Lose merely 5 to 10 psi below the recommended pressure, and you can experience up to a 3% reduction in fuel economy immediately. The truly alarming aspect is that countless drivers unknowingly operate in this condition for months at a time without realizing anything is wrong. Here's why. The tire pressure monitoring system warning light doesn't typically illuminate until pressure falls approximately 25% below the manufacturer's recommended level. By the time that little icon appears on your dashboard, you've already wasted a significant quantity of fuel that you can never recover. That's money gone forever. Gas stations count on drivers trusting that warning light instead of proactively checking tire pressure themselves. It's passive income for them. They don't need to do anything except wait for physics to do its work. Do something considerably smarter. Check your tire pressure at minimum once monthly, and always perform this check when tires are cold, meaning the vehicle hasn't been driven for at least 3 hours. Use the recommended PSI specification printed on the placard located on the driver's door jamb or door frame. Never the maximum pressure number printed on the tire sidewall itself, as that represents the tire's maximum safe capacity, not the optimal operating pressure for your specific vehicle. Get the pressure correct and your vehicle rolls more easily, your fuel reserves last longer, and you stop unnecessarily transferring money to gas stations they didn't legitimately earn. One fuel leak identified and sealed. Now let's address the overpriced pump option they constantly try pushing on unsuspecting customers. Strategy 7. Avoid premium gasoline. Unless your vehicle genuinely requires it. Premium fuel sounds impressive when you see it displayed on the pump labels, and fuel retailers absolutely love that perception. Why? Because it represents their easiest, most profitable upsell. Higher retail price, significantly higher profit margin per gallon, and for the vast majority of vehicles, absolutely zero tangible benefit. That's the crucial part they desperately hope you never question or investigate. Premium gasoline is not cleaner burning. It's not more powerful. It doesn't improve fuel economy. It doesn't contain superior detergents or cleaning agents. Its sole purpose is resisting engine knock, detonation, in high-compression engines or forced induction turbocharged engines specifically designed and calibrated to require it. If your owner's manual does not explicitly state premium required or premium fuel only, then every extra dollar you spend purchasing premium grade is functionally equivalent to leaving a voluntary tip for the gas station. The American Automobile Association conducted comprehensive testing across multiple vehicle models and engine types and discovered absolutely no measurable improvement in performance metrics, fuel economy figures, or long-term engine longevity in vehicles that only recommend premium fuel, as opposed to requiring it. Yet millions of drivers continue wasting hundreds of dollars annually chasing a benefit that simply doesn't exist for their particular vehicle. Gas stations thrive on perpetuating this confusion. Premium sounds safer, more advanced, more protective. So drivers keep purchasing it, and stations keep smiling all the way to the bank. Stick with regular grade fuel unless your engine explicitly demands premium. If the owner's manual uses language like premium recommended, but not required, that's your clear signal to save your money. Your engine will operate identically, your vehicle won't complain, and your wallet remains substantially heavier over time. Expensive myth thoroughly exposed. Now, let's uncover a fuel efficiency killer sitting on your vehicle, not inside the fuel tank. Strategy 6. Remove excess weight and eliminate unused roof racks. Very few things drain fuel reserves faster than forcing your vehicle to continuously haul unnecessary weight while simultaneously battling compromised aerodynamics. Gas stations are perfectly content if you never make this connection, because the heavier and less aerodynamically efficient your vehicle operates, the more frequently you'll find yourself back at the pump refilling. Every forgotten item residing in your trunk represents a silent, ongoing tax on your fuel economy. Old toolboxes, sports equipment gathering dust, emergency gear you haven't touched in years, bags of road salt from last winter, all of it forces the engine to work harder with every acceleration. The physics are straightforward and unforgiving. On average, every additional 100 pounds of cargo weight can reduce fuel economy by approximately 1%. That might sound insignificant until you actually calculate it over months or years of continuous driving. A 200-pound load that sits permanently in your vehicle could be costing you 2% of your fuel economy constantly. That's potentially $50 to $100 annually for absolutely no reason. Roof racks represent an even more substantial hidden gold mine for the petroleum industry. Even when completely empty, carrying absolutely nothing, crossbars and cargo boxes disrupt airflow like enormous air brakes mounted on top of your vehicle. At highway speeds, this aerodynamic penalty becomes severe. Empty roof racks can reduce fuel efficiency by anywhere from 10% all the way up to 25%, depending on the specific design and your typical driving speeds. The cumulative data is genuinely staggering when you examine it at a national scale. According to research analysis, in the United States alone, empty roof racks that serve no actual purpose are responsible for wasting over 100 million gallons of fuel every single year. That's 100 million gallons burned for zero benefit, generating zero value, accomplishing zero transportation goals. Gas stations certainly won't publicize that statistic. They'd much prefer you believe your vehicle is just naturally thirsty and inefficient by design. To beat this system, adopt a minimalist approach. Only carry what you genuinely need for your current trip or regular activities. Remove roof racks, cargo boxes, and bike carriers when you're not actively using them. Not next week, not eventually, but immediately after each use. When transporting cargo, keep items inside the vehicle's cabin or trunk instead of exposed on the roof whenever physically possible. These seemingly small behavioral changes accumulate surprisingly quickly, and suddenly your fuel tank lasts several days longer between refills. We've just addressed how excess weight steals fuel efficiency from the outside of your vehicle. The next secret explains how fuel literally escapes from the inside without you ever noticing it happen. Strategy 5. Keep your gas cap properly sealed. Your single biggest fuel leak might not be a visible leak at all. It could simply be an improperly tightened or deteriorated gas cap. A loose cap appears completely harmless at first glance, but it allows fuel vapor to continuously escape every hour your vehicle sits parked. That vapor loss is invisible to the eye, produces no sound, and is incredibly profitable for gas stations because it forces you to refuel sooner without ever seeing actual liquid fuel hitting the ground. Through years of diagnostic work, I've personally witnessed vehicles lose up to 30 gallons of fuel per year solely from vapor loss caused by a loose, damaged, or improperly functioning gas cap. That's an entire tank, gone, without driving a single mile. The vast majority of drivers never realize it happened because there's no puddle underneath the car, no smell inside the cabin, no obvious warning signs at all. When the gas cap isn't creating a proper seal, the evaporative emission control system, EVAP system, cannot maintain required pressure levels. This pressure loss triggers common diagnostic trouble codes including P0457, P0456, P0442, and P0455, the same codes that repair shops frequently attribute to mysterious system leaks requiring expensive diagnostic time and component replacement. In reality, approximately 9 times out of 10, the actual problem is the gas cap itself or the filler neck where it seals. A cracked rubber seal, worn threads, a damaged filler neck, or simply not tightening it completely can cause rough running, intermittent stalling, or incorrect air-fuel mixture ratios that reduce performance and efficiency. So implement the one simple action gas stations desperately hope you ignore. Twist the gas cap firmly until you hear it click, typically 3 distinct clicks. Check this every single time you refuel without exception. Inspect the rubber seal periodically for cracks, deterioration, or deformation. If the seal looks worn, compressed, or damaged, replace the entire cap immediately. A quality replacement gas cap costs approximately $12 to $25, depending on your vehicle, and that modest investment can save you hundreds in wasted fuel, prevent false warning lights from illuminating, and eliminate unnecessary EVAP system repairs that can easily exceed $500. The gas cap stops vapor leaks at the source. The next secret stops fuel loss caused by your right foot and inconsistent speed control. Strategy 4. Use adaptive cruise control on highway drives. Gas stations maintain conspicuous silence about this particular strategy because it cuts directly into one of their most lucrative profit zones: highway fuel consumption. The steadier your speed remains, the less fuel you waste, and absolutely nothing maintains speed steadier than adaptive cruise control. It automatically smooths out the precise habits that burn the most fuel at elevated speeds. Most drivers don't fully realize how much fuel they squander on highway drives just from tiny, almost imperceptible speed fluctuations. Drifting between 55 and 65 mph feels completely harmless and natural. You're barely even aware it's happening. But every small increase in speed forces the engine to demand more fuel to overcome increased aerodynamic resistance, and every slowdown throws away momentum that you already paid for at the pump. It's a constant cycle of acceleration and deceleration that chips away at your fuel economy mile after mile. Adaptive cruise control eliminates that inefficiency entirely. It locks in a constant, precise speed setting, automatically maintains a safe following distance from vehicles ahead, and removes the constant minor braking and hard reacceleration patterns that can increase fuel consumption by 10% to 20% on extended highway drives. When traffic conditions tighten up ahead, the system reacts faster and far more smoothly than your right foot ever could, maintaining optimal fuel efficiency even in dynamic traffic situations. Through extensive observation and real-world testing, I've witnessed drivers save an entire tank of fuel, sometimes even 2 complete tanks, every single month simply by consistently using adaptive cruise control during their daily interstate commutes. Gas stations would strongly prefer you ignore this capability and continue letting your speed bounce all over the place, burning excess fuel with every fluctuation. Make it standard practice. Use adaptive cruise control whenever road conditions, traffic density, and weather permit safe operation, and you'll notice your fuel gauge descending much more gradually. That's highway fuel consumption brought firmly under control, through technology you likely already have installed in your vehicle. Now, let's address the lubricant mistake that drains fuel even faster than inconsistent speed control. Strategy 3. Use the correct motor oil viscosity. This strategy flies completely under the radar because it doesn't benefit gas stations whatsoever. When your engine operates with the proper oil viscosity thickness, internal components glide smoothly instead of fighting against excessive friction, and that efficiency directly translates to fewer stops at the fuel pump. Gas stations generate zero additional profit when engines run smoothly and efficiently, so they have absolutely no incentive to explain what viscosity actually means or why it matters. Think of motor oil viscosity like blood pressure in the human body. Too thick, and the engine struggles significantly during cold starts, wasting substantial energy and fuel just to get internal components moving. Too thin, and protection drops dramatically once operating temperatures rise, increasing friction and wear under load conditions. Either mistake forces the engine to work harder than necessary, and the harder it works, the faster fuel disappears from your tank. Vehicle manufacturers print the correct viscosity specification on the oil filler cap and list it clearly in the owner's manual for very specific engineering reasons. An engine designed and calibrated for 5W30 expects that precise flow behavior profile, thin enough to flow freely when cold, yet robust enough to maintain protective film strength when fully hot. Deviate toward thicker oil, and you sacrifice fuel economy during everyday driving conditions. Go thinner than specified, and you compromise protection when the engine operates under stress, potentially causing accelerated wear. Both mistakes cost you fuel efficiency and progressively shorten engine lifespan over time. The genuinely surprising revelation is what happens when drivers switch from a thicker conventional oil to the correct lower viscosity full synthetic formulation. On many engine designs, fuel economy improves by 1% to 2% almost immediately. That might sound modest, but it's measurable, real, and cumulative. Over a year of driving, that 1–2% improvement can represent $30 to $60 in savings, plus the additional benefits of superior engine protection and extended oil change intervals that quality synthetics provide. Gas stations don't want engines running freely and efficiently. They profit from internal drag, excessive heat generation, and wasted fuel. Stick precisely to the viscosity specification provided by your vehicle's manufacturer, and your engine rewards you with noticeably smoother operation, reduced mechanical stress, and a healthier wallet over time. Get the oil viscosity right, and the engine breathes easier internally. But the next secret removes the carbon buildup and deposits that steal fuel efficiency from inside the engine over time. Strategy 2. Use engine and fuel system cleaners regularly. There's a very quiet, rarely discussed reason gas stations never promote or recommend engine cleaning products. Clean engines consume less fuel, period. The dirtier your fuel injectors become, The more carbon accumulates on intake valves and the thicker deposits build up in combustion chambers, the faster your fuel tank empties. That slow, progressive efficiency loss represents easy, passive income for fuel retailers and a silent, ongoing drain on your bank account. Inside every internal combustion engine, carbon deposits accumulate layer by microscopic layer with each combustion cycle. Fuel injectors gradually stop spraying in precise, atomized patterns. Intake valves don't seal as tightly as they should. Combustion efficiency weakens progressively. You won't notice the degradation in a single drive or even over a single week, but over several months, the telltale signs begin appearing. Rough idle quality, lazy throttle response, and fuel economy that drops noticeably without triggering any check engine lights or diagnostic trouble codes. Through extensive diagnostic experience, I've personally witnessed vehicles lose between 5% and 15% of their baseline fuel economy solely from dirty or clogged injectors. No other issues present. A quality fuel system cleaner directly addresses and reverses that problem. Products containing polyetheramine, known by the acronym PEA, are the critical ingredient to look for. PEA-based cleaners including Chevron Techron, Redline SI1, Regain, and similar professional-grade products break down stubborn carbon deposits that basic detergent additives found in pump gasoline simply cannot touch effectively. Restored spray patterns lead directly to improved combustion quality, and better combustion inherently means fewer trips to the gas station with more miles traveled per tank. Engine treatments matter substantially as well, particularly for higher mileage vehicles. Cleaning the crankcase thoroughly and freeing up sticky piston rings restores compression, reduces oil consumption, and brings lost power back to baseline levels. And restored power almost always comes accompanied by improved fuel economy. They're directly connected. Gas stations absolutely don't want this information spreading widely because clean engines stretch every gallon significantly further. Make it standard maintenance practice. Run a quality P-based fuel system cleaner every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, and seriously consider an engine treatment product before scheduled oil changes, especially on older or high-mileage vehicles showing signs of reduced performance. Clean the engine internally where combustion actually happens, and you save fuel where it matters most, at the molecular level where gasoline converts to motion. But the final secret exposes how gas stations exploit drivers right at the pump itself. Strategy 1. Never run your tank empty and never overfill it. This is the secret gas stations guard most aggressively. Because if drivers truly understood how much money they lose by running too low or filling too full, fuel sales volumes would drop virtually overnight across the entire industry. Let's start with the practice of running the tank dangerously close to empty, or worse, actually empty. Inside your fuel tank sits the electric fuel pump, and that pump relies exclusively on gasoline submersion for both cooling and lubrication. It's not cooled by air. It's not lubricated by oil. It depends entirely on being surrounded by fuel. When you habitually drive on fumes with the low fuel warning light glowing, the pump runs significantly hotter than design specifications allow. Excessive heat is absolutely devastating to fuel pump longevity. When a fuel pump fails prematurely due to heat damage, and they frequently do, you're looking at a repair bill that easily exceeds $800 to $1,500 once parts, labor, and related diagnostic work are included. Sometimes it's even higher depending on vehicle design and fuel tank accessibility. Nobody at the gas station warns you about this consequence until it's far too late and the damage is already done. By that point, you're stuck with a disabled vehicle and a hefty repair invoice. Now consider the opposite mistake that's just as costly. Topping off after the pump automatically clicks off. This practice represents a silent goldmine for gas stations, especially at locations with modern vapor recovery systems. Many pumps throughout the United States use sophisticated vapor recovery technology designed to capture fuel vapors for environmental compliance. Here's what they don't clearly explain. Every extra squeeze of the pump trigger after the automatic shutoff click often doesn't actually go into your vehicle's tank at all. Instead, it gets pulled back into the station's underground recovery system. While you still pay full price for it on the meter, you lose fuel, you lose money, and sometimes you damage your vehicle's paint from overflow spillage, a completely avoidable problem. Even worse than the immediate loss, overfilling forces raw liquid gasoline into the EVAP, evaporative emission control, system. which is designed exclusively to handle fuel vapors, not liquid fuel. When the charcoal canister becomes saturated with liquid gasoline, it fails. EVAP system repairs commonly range from $800 to $2,500 depending on the specific vehicle and which components require replacement. That's an enormously expensive consequence from something as seemingly innocent as trying to squeeze in just a little more fuel. Here's the move. Gas stations desperately hope you never adopt. Refill your tank when it reaches approximately 1/4 full. Never let it drop below that level. And stop immediately when the pump clicks automatically the first time. No topping off, no rounding up to the nearest dollar, no trying to squeeze in extra fuel. Just stop. That single behavioral habit protects your fuel pump from premature heat failure, preserves your emission control system from liquid contamination, prevents unnecessary fuel loss at the pump, and saves substantial money at every single fill-up over your vehicle's lifetime. There you have it, 13 powerful scientifically validated strategies that gas stations would prefer remain hidden from public knowledge. These aren't gimmicks, they're not theoretical concepts, and they don't require expensive purchases or modifications. They're practical, proven techniques that any driver can implement immediately to maximize fuel efficiency, extend engine life, and keep significantly more money in their pocket. Let's quickly recap what we've covered. We started by eliminating dangerous aggressive driving behaviors that waste fuel while risking your safety. We learned to anticipate traffic patterns instead of constantly reacting. We discovered the truth about air conditioning versus open windows at different speeds. We eliminated wasteful idling that burns fuel while going nowhere. We understood the critical importance of maintaining a clean air filter for optimal combustion. We addressed proper tire pressure and its substantial impact on rolling resistance. We exposed the premium fuel myth that costs drivers hundreds annually. We removed excess weight and unused roof racks that create drag. We sealed vapor leaks with properly maintained gas caps. We harnessed adaptive cruise control to smooth highway driving. We selected correct oil viscosity for reduced internal friction. We used quality cleaners to restore lost efficiency. And finally, we learned the critical importance of never running empty and never overfilling. Implement even half of these strategies consistently, and you'll notice immediate improvements in how far each tank takes you. Adopt all 13, and you could realistically save $500, $800, or even over $1,000 annually depending on your driving habits and fuel prices in your area. The power is entirely in your hands. Gas stations profit when drivers remain uninformed, make poor decisions, and continue wasteful habits. But now you know better. You have the knowledge. The only question is, will you use it? If you found this information valuable, make sure you're subscribed to Car Diagnostics. Hit that subscribe button, enable notifications, and share this video with anyone who could benefit from keeping more money in their pocket instead of handing it to gas stations unnecessarily. Drive smart, drive efficiently, and keep that hard-earned money where it belongs, with you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.